Today we're going to create a patch in the amazing Falcon synthesizer from UVI to play from our ROLI Seaboard Rise utilizing all 5 touch dimensions. To begin, we'll choose a wavetable type oscillator. In order to achieve the correct sound and response from the Seaboard Rise, we need to put Falcon in MPE mode. We do that by clicking on the Event tab and selecting the MPE script. The timbre setting corresponds to the Y-axis slide setting of the Seaboard Rise. We want to make sure we have this set for relative operation. For our wavetable, we'll select a waveform called daftitude. Modulating the wave index scans the wavetable, creating changes to the timbre. We're going to assign slide control on the Seaboard to modulate this wave index. Let's fatten up this sound by making this 2-voice stereo with a bit of detuning. The next touch dimension is strike, which controls velocity. In Falcon, this is automatically set to control amplitude response. This can be adjusted in the amp envelope. We're going to take a minute here to adjust the amp envelope itself. Let's also adjust the attack velocity such that a harder strike results in a faster attack. Now, let's add a low-pass filter and a filter envelope to make the sound more interesting. Our third touch parameter, pitch bend, we don't have to do anything. That is set automatically when we choose our MPE script in Falcon. Our 4th touch parameter is pressure. We're going to make this interesting by creating a new oscillator layer. This time, we'll choose an ordinary sine wave. We'll name our layer so we can keep track of things. Let's solo this sine wave layer so we can focus on it for a minute. We'll make this layer an octave higher. We want to control the level of this oscillator from pressure. To do that, we'll assign polyphonic pressure to the gain control in the key group layer. Pressing down softly produces a soft sound. Pressing down further crescendos the sound. We don't want this crescendo response to happen too easily, so we're going to create a response curve using the mapping function in Falcon. We can create any kind of response we want using this feature. We're going to create a curve shape so that it takes some effort to press down to create the crescendo. That responds nicely now, but let's add a little more bite when we press down. We're going to do that by using the sync feature in the sine wave here and also assign that to poly pressure. We're going to assign the same curve shape to that as well. We don't want too much of this effect, so we're going to adjust the range of this response for just a little bit. Now let's unsolo this layer so we can hear how they work together. We want to adjust our original wavetable layer so that it softens when we use pressure so we can hear our sine wave come out. To do that, we're going to use the same control, assigning poly pressure to the keyboard group gain control. But this time we're going to set a negative range. That's starting to respond the way we want. Let's also fatten up this sine wave by making it two-voice stereo also. Let's also adjust the envelope for the sine wave layer so we get a longer release time. We're going to be using that for something in a minute. Now we've come to our fifth and final touch dimension, lift. We're going to do something interesting here. We're going to start by assigning an LFO to control pitch to create a vibrato effect. We're going to control the depth of this vibrato from lift. We do that by assigning release velocity to the depth control of our LFO. What happens is that when we lift our finger in a normal manner, we get the normal sound without the vibrato. But when we lift our finger quickly, the vibrato kicks in when we release the note. We're almost done now. To flesh out our sound, let's add some effects. First, we'll add a delay effect. Now, let's add a spring reverb effect. We want to be able to control the wet-dry mix of these two effects from our left-hand controllers of the Seaboard Rise. To do that, we assign the controls to macros. We'll name these two macros delay and reverb, and we'll be able to see them when we open the Info tab. To assign these new macro controls to our Seaboard Rise, we simply need to use the MIDI learn function in Falcon. We can adjust the range of these controls by selecting Edit Modulation and adjusting the range. For finer control, let's add our curve response to the reverb wet-dry mix. That's it. We've created our patch. Now let's have some fun playing it. Don't forget to save your work.